Those who were at the last convention know my name is Dexter Clark, and the last time I opened with a little Robert Service poetry, we got halfway around the table, and as Mr. Moore said, it's not all dark and dreary, so maybe I'd open up with a little story did by a poet named Garrison Kiellor when he came to Alaska. And this guy would always do his research, so he pretty well pegged it, and all you have to know about Alaska to appreciate this is that our capital, Juneau, is completely isolated from the rest of the state. The only way in there is to fly or take a ferry boat. It's down in the mountains, a very treacherous place even to fly in. So that's all you need to know to understand the point of this whole story. It goes like this. I came to Alaska on the 4th of July to see the mountains against the sky, to walk the hills in the soft twilight of Alaska's long midsummer night. I've been to Fairbanks and Anchorage too, to Juneau and Nome and Kotzebue, but the strangest place that I ever saw was a town on the banks of the Mackinac, in the foothills of the Cardiac Range, just west of Wrangell, east of Haines, south of Barrow by the sea, a village they called Hyperbole, settled slowly over the years by up-and-coming pioneers that made the northern pilgrimage up to Alaska to get rich, arriving several years too late for gold or oil or real estate. Having missed out on the prize, they decided to stay here and tell lies. Whoppers, tall tales, fables, fiction, open season, no restriction. All the liars for miles around, gathering there in one small town, swearing with one hand on the gospel to things not just untrue, but impossible. The first lies that they told were modest. The gold they had found by sifting sawdust. The salmon they caught that weighed a ton. The lies you would hear from anyone. How smart they were, and who they had fooled, and how, and when. All the funny things they said, the women they had almost wed. Then, the other day, sitting in the Red Dog bar and drinking whiskey from a jar, smoking butts and spitting chew and saying things that just weren't true, they didn't notice as they lied that it was getting dark outside. Then a shadow fell, and the earth began to tremble with a sound like 40,000 air compressors. It frightened all those old BSers who ran outside and were amazed to see that all the hills had raised. With each lie told by each liar, the land around had gotten higher. So now their town looked rather small beneath those hills a mile tall, sunk down in a set of trenches for being so unconscientious. A town that once could keep its eyes on yonder distant clear horizon. A town once on a high plateau, now in a valley like Juneau. I don't need to tell you that where I come from the land is flat. You can tell that by my level gaze and steady, even-handed ways. I come from the Middle West, where people are the truthfulest. Sure, we made mistakes, I know, but that was many years ago. Since then, we've done our very best to be examples to the rest. And that's why